Well, thank you very much for joining me. What's going on, everybody? I'm Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob, and this is the Scene Snob Reviews. I have just checked out Elvis, went to the theaters this morning and watched it, and I'm going to talk about it. Now, if anybody who doesn't know what this movie is about, it's about the king of rock and roll, Mr. Elvis Presley. It is the story as told from the perspective of Colonel Parker, his longtime sort of business partner manager. They say promoter in the movie, but I don't know much about it. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And when it comes to Elvis, I know very little about the guy's life. Elvis, I always liked his music, appreciate his music. He had a beautiful, cool, crisp voice. His songs were great. I never really got into his movies. Never got into anything more than that, just some music. So I never got into the life, never really read books about him and such. I know little things here and there, stuff I've seen, other movies I've seen, stuff like that. But I always take like the biopics with a grain of salt because you never actually know what perspective they're coming from. This movie was done by Baz Luhrmann. Now, if you know Baz Luhrmann, he's done one of my favorite movies, Moulin Rouge. He's done others as well, Romeo and Juliet, Great Gatsby. Nothing major. I think this is like his fourth or fifth like studio movie, but for this, it definitely has his style to it, and I appreciated that. I really like the style of this movie, and I'm going to get into that, but I want to tell you a little bit. I don't want to give anything away about like what happens, but I think we kind of know what happens with Elvis. We all know how he passed away, what it was all about, things like that, but this is a story that follows him from beginning to end, his whole career, really. This is told from the focus of his career, how his career affected his family, how his career affected his friendships, his, how he was, his life altogether. And it was told from that perspective because I guess Colonel Parker, who was the one that kind of ran his life, was the one that did most of the stuff to him. He was the villain of the story. Although if you watch this movie, I think they try to give it a little bit like he wasn't the villain. Like they do a really good job with that, where because he's narrating it, you're never the villain of your own story. So to him, it's like, this is what had to be done. But they show that he was the one pulling strings and things like that. And I thought that was a pretty cool little aspect of it. Him desperately trying to say, no, look at it from my point of view. This is how it is. But he's still the one causing the problems. So I really appreciate that they did that. First off, this movie's beautiful. It really is a beautiful movie. Baz Luhrmann knows how to make a movie look gorgeous, and this definitely worked. His transitions in this movie, especially when he's covering time, and like the way he shows Graceland and things like that, and like just everything that kind of moves in and flows is a spectacle. It's gorgeous. I really like that. See, the thing about this is, I don't know much about the lives of musicians, but I love biopics, especially about musicians. When done right, they could be done really well. One for me that I think is one of the best of all time is Elton John's Rocket Man story. I thought that was one of the best biopics I've ever seen. And then you can go to another spectrum. I didn't really like the Queen, biopic, but this is one I would say I enjoyed. Like I said, I went in there, I didn't know. I walked out. There was an older gentleman who was in there with me, asked me what I thought of it. We just kind of stood outside talking for a few minutes about it, and I found myself really saying, like, I liked the movie as a movie. I don't know how I felt about it as a biopic because I don't know, a lot was sensationalized, but a lot was like seemed to be played up for the tragedy of it. And the story dragged at times. So, it's a 2 hour and 40-minute movie, and you feel it. And I don't like that when you feel that time. Then I feel like your movie's a little too long. I feel like they glossed over parts that were really interesting that I wanted to pay attention to and go more in depth with. Like Elvis, Black artists inspiring Elvis and like where that comes from and stuff like that. His friendship with B.B. King. They show Little Richard in it, things like that, but they never go too in depth with it. It's always sort of surface. And then they get really in depth with aspects like Elvis wanted to become an activist and protest and things like that, and like where his movements were in trouble and stuff like that, or they glossed over his time in Germany in the army and stuff, and then or the Air Force rather. They just glossed over a lot that I thought was the interesting parts, and went more in depth with stuff that really wasn't that interesting. So, overall, I think when you do that, you take away from the movie in a big way, and it wasn't there for me. But I did enjoy it. Again, the music was fantastic. Austin Butler did a fantastic, terrific job as Elvis in the movie. Tom Hanks, of course, being one of the greatest actors, did a really good job as Colonel Tom Parker. But here's the thing. He seems like such a mustache twirling villain in this that was desperately trying to be seen as like, oh, I'm a caring old guy and I care. And I didn't like the character. I thought he played it really well. You don't see Tom Hanks in this role. You see this character. But I didn't like the character. Not because he was the bad guy. You needed a bad guy. You needed that protagonist, and he was there. But I didn't like some of the choices made by Lerman and Hanks for the character. It didn't work for me. Some things, the way he talked, some things he said, just kind of took me out of it, But overall, he was a good protagonist to Butler's Elvis. And it just, one of my favorite versions of the Elvis stories, the 1979 movie made by Carpenter and with Kurt Russell playing Elvis. I really enjoyed that. But even that's like a sort of a boring thing, and it glosses over some stuff. This movie just didn't hit the mark for a great movie for me. But it's a good movie. I would put it up there with, good movie. And I think Lerman is good at that. He can make a movie look beautiful, but story-wise, it just didn't really fit with me. It was just it was almost like watching a really nice, long music video, because it is gorgeous, and the music is fantastic. And I love his mix of current contemporary music into it and how it plays out and all the different cultural music in between and where it all fits. I was like, this really works. And he's very good with that. So I really enjoyed that aspect of this. But it just wasn't there. I wish it was, but it just wasn't there. There wasn't enough drama almost. Like, you knew how it started, what was going on, and you knew how it ended. Like, when I watch a movie, and I'm only comparing it to these other musicians' biopics, because like when you watch a Rocket Man, you see Elton John's fierce battle with his addiction. When you watch Ray, is same thing, the fierce battle with addiction, fierce battle with so much, and overcoming his with his blindness and being able to do and set out everything he's done. This drama is like what makes a really good biopic. And Elvis is not short on that. They kind of glossed over his addictions. They saw it took over in the end, but it was always sort of there, and they never really played into it. His addictions to women and things like that. They completely just like kind of sensationalized it, and it missed its mark for me. But again, I maintain that it was a good movie. I think maybe if you're an Elvis fan, this would be one for you, because it does really paint Elvis in a really superhero light. And I like that, if you're a fan, especially. But overall, I don't care about Elvis either way. So I would have preferred the drama, because I'm more of a movie fan. So, with something like that, Elvis just wasn't there for me. But I did like it. I give it a favorable ranking. For me, I do 1 out of 5. So I gave it a 3 records out of 5. Because I do think people will really enjoy this. Again, if not for nothing, because of the beautiful look of the movie. And it's paced well, except for a couple parts where it really drags on. The whole him working in Hollywood scene, him being a movie star, I really enjoyed that. They really, the montage of time and things like that really played well. The parts where he's with his mother and how that plays out, really well done. I would even say the first 2 acts of the movie are really well done, and only with a few things that really drag, but are really well done. I wish that they had stayed in depth with certain parts of it. But that last act, it was good, but it wasn't great. And it kind of dragged the movie down a bit. So that's my ranking for Elvis. It is out this weekend in theaters. So if you are looking for something to go watch, maybe go check it out, especially if you're an Elvis fan. I think you really enjoy it. But other than that, maybe wait for it to come out to streaming, because it'd be really nice to watch at home, listen with the surround sound, because again, that music is fantastic, and the way they've kind of mixed the music and such really works. So that's my feeling on it. I will say this: I thought Austin Butler as Elvis in this movie did a terrific job. Looked just like him. He really handled himself well. He acted it well. He sounded like him. If you are going to do nominations for things based on biopics and how they acted out, he is up there. He's much better than a lot of the other ones that I've seen. So he did a fantastic job. So good on him. I know for me, he's relatively unknown. I don't know much about him. I looked him up, and I saw some of the stuff that he's in. I remember him from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Yoga Hosers, but not much more than that. I don't really watch the shows that he was on and stuff. So, So other than that, go check it out if you want. It's out there. Like I said, it's a good movie. It's just not a great movie, but I did like it overall. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Go check out any one of our reviews over on our YouTube channel. If you like this one, hit the like button. Maybe hit the subscribe button. Check out more from our channel. We have a lot of great shows like Geek Fest Live, Real Combat, Plot Roast, where we roast old movies. We have our movie reviews, the Scene Snobs Podcast, and more. It's a lot of fun on there, and we have a good time. If you go to thescenesnobs.com, which is this, it's over here, which is this QR code right here. You have all our links to our social media and stuff like that. We do different things on different social media. So join up, hang out with us, talk to us. We have a Discord. We've got a Patreon. We have a Facebook group, the whole 9 yards. So please feel free to join in. I am McManhattan Scene Snob. I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you again for watching and listening. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching and listening, everybody. I'm the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan. You can check out the Scene Snobs Podcast live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel, or all podcast platforms afterwards. Also on our YouTube channel, you can check out great shows like Real Combat, the ultimate debate show for movie lovers, mixed movie picks with new recommendations every week, Geek Fest Live every Sunday night, and new movie reviews and news all the time. Like and subscribe, then hit the notification bell so you know when all of our new episodes drop. Thank you so much to all of our amazing Patreon supporters, with whom this would not be possible. They help keep the lights on and support us in such big ways. If you would like to become a supporter on our Patreon and take advantage of all the perks like monthly giveaways, early access, and so much more, head on over to the Scene Snobs Patreon page and just sign up on one of our 2 tiers. Join our awesome community of geeks, movie lovers, and so much more, and join up on our Discord. The Scene Snobs Discord is now live, and you can head over to thescenesnobs.com for links to there and more. The Scene Snobs merch store is now open with original fun designs that are available on all different types of merch and apparel. Check out thescenesnobsmerch.com. Make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media accounts like TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and so many more. We have fun updates, topics, we talk about collectibles, and so much more on there. It's a great time. You can find all of our links to everything on thescenesnobs.com or on our link tree, which are down in the descriptions below. Thanks again, everyone. Stay tuned and stay geeky.